So if you've been arrested for DWI in Texas, even if it's your first offense, you're facing jail time. You're facing 6 months no matter what, right? Whether they have a BAC on you or not, right? That's a Class B misdemeanor. If they do have a forensic result for you that's a .15 or higher, then you're facing up to a year in jail. So DWI is the type of crime that can happen to anybody because nobody takes public transport in Texas and you can get drinks everywhere you go. So it's a very common thing, and it is legal to drink and then drive. It's just illegal when you cross that level of intoxication. So these are some important things to think about if you've just been arrested for it. Number one, what are your bond conditions? You saw a magistrate judge, you may remember, you may not remember. Sometimes these things are done in a hurried, kind of weird way. And I know the whole experience is awkward, right? But if you saw a magistrate judge, you may remember them telling you about conditions of bond. Common conditions are ignition interlock. You have to have that thing that's a huge pain that you have in your vehicle that you have to blow into just to drive your vehicle. Drug testing is another thing that's a common condition of bond. The most common condition of bond, obviously, is you have to go to court, right? Because the alternative to being on bond is you just sit in the county jail and then they give you a free ride every time you have a court date. So going to court is the most important condition of bond, but there are other ones. Checking in with a pretrial services officer or a probation officer that just monitors people on bond. All of those things are important parts of the early DWI process. And if you mess up any of those things, it can cause the inconvenience of you having to go back to jail and or getting in more trouble with the judge who ultimately is going to be deciding what happens on your case anyway. So you don't want to mess them up, right? So that's an important one. I think it's number one, really. Identify your conditions of bond. If you have questions for clarification, you can always ask your lawyer later, but it's important to get that stuff together. Number two, your driver's license. What's going on with it? If you were asked to give a specimen of your breath or blood and you refuse, that might help you down the line when your attorneys are fighting your case in court. But DPS in Austin is going to hit you with an automatic driver's license suspension just for refusing. Now, the duration of that suspension is not based on the facts of your case. It's going to be based on your criminal history or driving history otherwise. But that's something that's coming from DPS, and it's coming quick. It's an automatic deal. You do have a 15-day window to request what's called an ALR hearing. This is a complicated thing, and DPS is unforgiving. Every I has to be dotted and every T has to be crossed, and they are looking for ways to reject your request based off of some clerical error that you may have made. So that's another important thing to get a lawyer on. But I just want you to know while you're watching this right now, man, that's coming up. You've only got that 15-day window. It's important to do it. So I would say that's number two, right? Identifying bond conditions is number one. Seeing what's going on with your driver's license and making sure that you get that request in for the ALR hearing is definitely number two. Number three, in my opinion, is the one that takes care of 1 and 2, as well as 4, 5, 6, and 7 and on down the road, and that's hiring an attorney. You need to get a DWI lawyer who has experience in these cases on your side so you can get out in front of this. I can tell you right now, there is an enormous difference in the outcome for people who get counsel, who fight, who are engaged, who are proactive, no matter the facts of their case, than people who just go in on the first day and take whatever plea the prosecutors are going to give them, or whatever, not so great deal their court-appointed attorney worked out while they were trying to take care of the other 100 cases that they're assigned to that day. So your effort matters on this, and it's important to hire a defense attorney, and I want to talk about why for a minute, right? Number one in this whole deal is the evidence that the state has, because they have a burden to prove this allegation that they have against you. They're the ones who have to bring that evidence. As defense attorneys, we get to challenge that evidence. So that number one thing that all of these cases are built on is the evidence. You have to kind of know what you're looking for in order to challenge some things. And there certainly are, some obstacles that are just inherent in our legal system for people if you're trying to do it by yourself. Because everybody watching this, we do all have a constitutional right to an attorney if we're charged with a crime, but we also have a right to just represent ourselves. Don't represent yourself. It's important to comb through that evidence and know what to look for, and know if you do find something, how can that be leveraged to put you in the best spot and to give you the best advantage? whether that's early on in the case or whether you're kind of setting something up that you might try to get to come to fruition at a later date, right? Some of these things I'm talking about are special evidentiary requests. Other things are constitutional assertions, like your right to a speedy trial, right? That's something that the law and the case law says that we have to assert. Almost nobody would know to do that or even know that that's a thing and know the consequence of doing it and how it can help you down the road. So that's a real important reason to get counsel, is that number one thing, like I said, of just the evidence involved in all of this, right? Above and beyond that though, DWI cases take a long time. You know, I know it sucks, but you're gonna be in this for like 8 or 10 months, sometimes more. Shout out to New Braunfels. And it's important to have somebody along the way with you that you can call and say, hey, I got this weird thing in the mail. What is this? Hey, my driver's license suspension is ending, I think. What do I do with my SR22 insurance? Hey, my granddaughter's getting married, or my cousin's getting married, or my best friend's getting married and it's out of the country. How am I gonna be able to go to that if I'm on bond? Hey, I got a call from my pretrial officer that said that I missed a drug test and I'm gonna go back to jail. All of these things are scary things, and misinformation can be scary. And one of the things that we do, and that I know a lot of good lawyers out there do, is we provide accurate, real-time information to people. We want to take care of our clients in court, but we really want to take care of our clients overall in a holistic way so that you don't have to worry about all this stuff. We're here to worry about it. We're here to stand up to the bullies at the courthouse who have a whole team of investigators and a whole team of interns and a whole team of other lawyers working on your conviction. We're here to stand up on all of that, inside and outside of the courtroom. So I think that's an important thing. And then the last thing that I think is important when considering why to get an attorney and why to get specifically a DWI attorney with experience is, all of this sucks right now, right? It's a pain and it's a real inconvenience in your life, but life is gonna go on. And so it's really important not just to work to get the best result for right now, but to be contemplative of, what is this gonna do for me 10 years from now, when I might be in a better position in work and I might be needing to pass background checks or some type of security clearance or whatever. So having that forward-thinking approach to both get the best result for right now and down the road, I think is something that only experienced DWI lawyers can provide you. So those are kind of, if I want to go back to the top here, the main 3 things to be thinking about right after a DWI arrest. What are the conditions of my bond and how can I get with that and make sure that I don't mess it up? What's going on with my driver's license? How can I get that request in? What happens in the meantime? What happens when that suspension does come through? Because it most likely will come through. And then what's going to happen in court? How can I make the best of what's probably a bad situation? The answer for all of those things is hiring a lawyer.